deforestation, all-round pollution in water and air. Ladies and gentlemen, the killing of animals. Is this what we got from our development? I'll tell you, in our presentation, we're going to tell you on hybrid car, how it would help to fix the environment. And this is where I'm going to emphasize it to you guys. And basically, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum, and every present day I bring to you honorable educators, accurate timekeepers, and last but never least, members of today's floor. Now, as the presenter, my name is Adam, followed by my co-presenter today, very beautiful Syafiqa Balqis, and not to forget my technical assistant. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now as we are going to talk about hybrid cars, we're going to tell you on how this hybrid car would cater to the sustainable development. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, this sustainable development can be broken into two constituent parts. That's firstly the concept of needs. When we are talking about the concept of needs, we're going to tell you on how the hybrid car would use lesser energy, lesser unrenewable energy, so that our future generation can actually use it. So this is where we tell you the concept of the needs. And secondly, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tell you how the hybrid car would maintain the healthy environment for our future generation. Because it uses the integrated motor assist, or IMA to cut for short, and it does not only depend on this fossil fuel. And once more, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show you a video that will stir your senses, and therefore it will explain to you guys on how this hybrid car would have actually works, and that is, we call it as the fundamental concepts of hybrid car. Hybrid car was produced in 1999, pioneer in use of electric motor to assist the gasoline engine. The hybrid car is also known as integrated motor assist, or IMA to cut for short. But simply, this means that the gasoline engine serves as the main power source, with electric motor lending a hand magic accelerator. It's a simple, dependable solution with a lot of other advantages. And because, ladies and gentlemen, this conventional engine is practically different from electric motor, all the energy that is needed is available instantly, so you get a swift acceleration at a steady start and a handy power boost at the beginning of the route. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are not asking the gasoline engine to do all of the work. So this, we tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it will reduce the fuel consumption, and therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it emits low carbon monoxide, low carbon dioxide, oxides, nitrates, and other dangerous particulates. And this is all about efficiency now we're talking about. This is why I go for a hybrid car. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, when the car decelerates, all the energy is released as heat, of course, and then heat is transferred into a battery. And when the car accelerates again, it uses the energy from the battery to use for acceleration. And this is how I explain the concepts of sustainable development, and therefore it is the hybrid car. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, just like what you saw inside the video, here we tell you when it uses the integrated motor assist, or IMA to cut for short, this means that we are not fully dependent on the fossil fuel. And if we don't depend on this fossil fuel, it reduces the carbon emission, that is, the smoke-forming pollutants. And therefore, it remedies the problem of greenhouse effect that we're actually having. That is the main idea why we're actually presenting this. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, there are two major questions that we want to ask. Is that firstly, why do you actually buy a hybrid car? Because a hybrid car is actually to save the environment. That's the main theme why we want to buy a hybrid car. And secondly, ladies and gentlemen, what's the differences between a hybrid car and a conventional car? Because when it does not fully depend on the fossil fuel, it reduces the price. It reduces the cost that we need to buy the fuel at the first place, ladies and gentlemen. And therefore, for a day, it reduces for about 5% to 40%. So just imagine that if this thing gets procrastinated, then of course it will save the money, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the main question. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, these are some examples of the most famous hybrid cars that we're actually having. For instance, we have Honda Dash, Honda Insight, Toyota Prius, and Toyota Prius C. And in case you keep on wondering, this thing is actually lingers in your mind, the Malaysian government is not doing anything to support the local hybrid electric vehicles. Wait until I show you this. We have here proton auxiliary and proton personary. This means that these cars will be produced in the year 2014, ladies and gentlemen. And this, we will have a variety choice to buy the Harvey car, not just simply depend on Honda and Purdua, ladies and gentlemen. So this also we have the concept of HEV itself, meaning to say that this will be produced if the society gives a positive feedback towards this HEV. And this is where I want to preach to you guys to go for HEV, give positive impact and positive feedback so that these beautiful cars will be produced.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you the initiative given by our local Malaysian government in order to promote the usage of HEVs. Firstly, giving 50% of exemption on excise duty for Malaysians and also giving 100% of investment tax allowance or ITA or pioneer status for a period of 10 years. But what I want to highlight to you today is that the Malaysian government has given a pioneer status of 100% for 10 years and also the ITA for 100% and in the manufacture of selected critical components that support the usage of HEVs, such as the battery electric motors, the electric inverters, and also the battery management system. And next, ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Energy, Green Technology and Water will also draw out a roadmap towards the manufacturing and infrastructure to develop HEVs. This means the KETA, Ministry of Green Technology and Water, is working together with the local car manufacturers in order to start the development of HEVs. Meaning to say, for example, nowadays Proton is working with this KETA and through their pilot project, so-called Fleet Test Vehicle Program, in their R&D program towards the development of HEVs. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now zoom out towards the national initiative given by other developed modern countries. Let's take United States of America, for example. The US government has venture capitals to their local car manufacturers in order to start development of HEVs. This acts as a capital for the local car manufacturers to start production of HEVs more and more. Acknowledge that US is a very big country with a very high population. Imagine how much fossil fuels can be saved. Secondly, the Japanese government realizes that the production of HEV is very, very expensive, and therefore, they has given temporary subsidies for the production of HEVs to their local car manufacturers. And lastly, the Chinese government is also another supporter of this production of HEVs. It doesn't matter if it's only 10% of these Chinese people who are using HEVs, but what matters is that they are contributing towards maintaining a clean environment. And so we think that the nation should take this development in countries as an example to apply in our country. And ladies and gentlemen, how do we approach the society towards this production and development of HEVs? In order for the society to accept this concept of HEVs, we think that the government should provide enough education for our local people. Of course, the teachers cannot walk around in the class spreading concepts and benefits of HEVs, but then we think that the government should provide enough education through this role of social media. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, this government cannot publish vital information on the newspapers, car magazines, but then of course, the government can publish vital information on the newspaper and car magazines, but let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you in this room who actually read a newspaper every day? Raise up your hands. See, ladies and gentlemen, only minority of us who use this way, and therefore we think that the power of social media should be utilized. And we think that nowadays you don't have to go to these cyber cafes in order to just log on to the internet. And you can now use a smartphone, which means that the social media such as the Facebook, Google and Twitter are now easily accessible by our local people. And therefore, millions of people can get vital information at a short period of time.
Okay, so this means, ladies and gentlemen, the Indian proverb goes, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, but we borrow it from our future generation. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, with everyone's cooperation and contribution, I'm sure that HEV would go further, and therefore our planet will be a very healthy place to live in. This is something that I quoted for myself. A slight change right now will make a big difference in the future. With that, thank you HEV and thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I would like to invite participants to ask questions for the Q&A session.
Yes. Yes.
Excuse me, can you speak a bit louder, please? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Salika from Indonesia. I sure that everything is have the advantage and disadvantage. And what is the disadvantage of the hybrid car? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the only disadvantage is basically nothing. But I tell you what's the most obvious disadvantage is. When we are talking about promoting the HEVs, we are trying to emphasize the usage of HEV throughout the people of Malaysia. The only advantages is the normal cars, for instance, MyV and other such cars, is not further emphasized. So this is where we tell you these are the advantage of it. And once more, ladies and gentlemen, the disadvantage is we are not giving subsidies for gasoline, but instead we are giving the subsidies for HEV cars. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, people would have the complacency to further use this gasoline. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we would emphasize the usage of the hybrid car in the first place. So this, I believe that I answered your question. Okay, any other questions?
Yes. Student. Yeah. Right. That's my son then. Simple question. Now you were saying that the initiative, or rather steps taken by the government to encourage the usage of hybrid or electric car is by reducing the DT from overseas into the country, into Malaysia by 50%. Do you think that the government should totally abolish the duty of HEV cars into the country to make people use car better? Total abolishment of the duty.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as we know, our development of HEVs is only at the beginning. And so, what we explained to you about the 50% of exemption on SIGT, right?
Yes.
Okay, I give you a chronology, ladies and gentlemen. For example, every imported single cars, such as Mercedes, which is imported in our cars, will be imposed excise duty, right? And therefore, this makes the Mercedes car is more expensive in our country, Malaysia, compared to the foreign countries. And this is when our government gets money through this impose of duty to the Mercedes car. But then, ladies and gentlemen, we think that the government should abolish. Okay? We think that the government should abolish this excise duty to our hybrid cars in order to promote the usage of HEVs among people. By this way, of course, the price of the hybrid cars will not be that cheap, but still, it is affordable by all people to buy these hybrid cars and use them in their everyday life. We need to say, it is not impossible that one day, Proton, Prodwa, our local car manufacturers will actually produce a hybrid car. Is that answer your question?
Yeah, probably answer and research.
With that, we end our presentation. Thank you for listening. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you for the questions and answers. Now let's hear from Sekolah Menengah Sains Dungun to present.